Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking to author George Neeb. George is the author of a children's educational book called Pharaohs Arrow. Akia loves living in an oasis far from the Nile River with her father. But when she is faced with another family tragedy, Akia embarks on a plan of revenge that takes her to the ancient capital of Memphis and to meet Almighty Pharaoh. She quickly learns that vengeance isn't as easy as it may seem. Come visit ancient Egypt through a tale told in rhyming couplets, authentic hieroglyphs, and historic papyrus paintings come to life. Hi, George. First of all, welcome and thank you for coming on Book Talk Radio Club.
Hi, Claire. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, Pharaoh's Arrow is a children's educational book. What made you decide to write an educational book rather than just a regular children's novel?
Well, I teach elementary school, and I'm always looking for ways to bring interest to teaching students. And one way is through picture books.
Right.
Kids love picture books.
Mm-hmm.
I think the visual is so appealing to them.
Yeah.
So when teaching about history, I always found it's more enjoyable if the kids can see the history there in the picture book, see the art, see what these ancient cultures look like. And they learn a lot just from looking at the pictures.
Absolutely.
They notice the clothing. You get them to look at the clothing, look at the homes, look at the things. And I couldn't find a lot of picture books about ancient cultures. There's a lot of information books, but not a lot of narratives. So it was really derived kind of from my teaching.
Okay. Well, the book is set in ancient Egypt. Is there a particular reason why you set the book in that time?
Well, I love ancient Egypt. I love the style of their artwork. Their work, it's simple yet graceful designs. And I read somewhere people say ancient Egyptians were the first graphic artists.
Okay.
So their style just appeals to me. And I find kids are fascinated by Egypt, the pyramids, the mummies.
Yeah.
Even how they drew people. You know, the kids notice everybody's drawn in profile in ancient Egypt, but their eyes and shoulders face forward. So you get this unique, almost contorted look to ancient Egyptian drawings.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The Tale of Akia is set in rhyming couplets. What's a rhyming couplet, George?
Well, couplets are two lines that end in a rhyme.
Okay.
And I've learned they're actually pretty hard to write.
I should imagine it would be.
Yeah, so you're trying to match your rhyme at the end of the line, but you have to also keep track of syllables, and then the meter. The meter needs to match. That's the hardest part, so that you get this rhythm to it, almost like a song.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds right. But I thought the story would sound more historic if I wrote it in rhyme. And I personally always love the sound of couplets when I read aloud to my students. When I read poetry or read a picture book that rhymes, I think it's just more entertaining. So I wanted my book to rhyme. And, we teach poetry and couplet writing too at school. So I thought, it could also be a resource for that too, teaching about poetry.
Aren't you a clever thing?
Well, thank you.
Not only did you write Pharaoh's Arrow, but you're also the illustrator of the book too. I have to say your drawings are absolutely beautiful. They look like ancient papyrus. How on earth did you do that?
Oh, well, thank you. As I said before, I love the Egyptian style, so I knew when I did this book, I wanted my book to be done to look like an ancient papyrus scroll or an ancient tomb sort of come to life to tell the story. So I did a lot of research first to get the look of the Egyptian style. I looked in a lot of books and tried to find how the Egyptians drew everything.
Right.
I wanted my animals, the people, the buildings, even the trees to look authentic because they had their own style to draw all this stuff.
Absolutely.
And then to get the papyrus, I was just going to say, to get the papyrus, the papyrus look was just a lot of experimenting. And I found the best way to achieve it was just to use a tempera paint, which is just a water paint, water paint mixture over top. So I colored everything with pencil crayon because I wanted the drawings to be able to repel the paint.
Right.
And then I brushed on the paint, and while it was wet, I rubbed it with a disposable cloth, and you get that amazing texture.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
So I've actually put in the back of the book then instructions on how to do it because I thought readers or teachers might want to try it as an art lesson. I did a YouTube video also so that readers can see how I did it. So it's available there for them.
You've obviously have a love of ancient Egypt. Have you visited the country and seen any of the remarkable tombs and antiquities?
I haven't yet. I thought of for this interview of heading over to Egypt and sailing down the Nile on a barge while I talk to you, but that didn't work out. So it's on my bucket list. I always try to visit. I've visited a lot of museums though with great Egyptian displays, like the Metropolitan in New York City has an amazing display, and I just was in Paris at the Louvre, and they world famous Egypt display. So I spent a whole day just wandering through there, soaking it all up. I'm sure, I think Napoleon probably brought a lot of that stuff back from Egypt. But no, I definitely have to go someday. I haven't been there yet.
You've got to. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So tell me, what age group is Pharaoh's Arrow aimed at?
Well, I targeted it to ages 8 to 11.
Right.
I teach grade 4 here in Canada, which is about 9 years old. So I was writing to sort of the grade level I teach.
Yeah.
Students this age, they still like picture books. I find kids even older like picture books. I know a lot of people say picture books are you got to target them to younger, but I know teachers teaching grade 7 or 8, that's 12-year-olds that are still using picture books because they have that appeal, that visual appeal.
Especially with this kind of subject, absolutely.
Yeah, with that kind of subject, and there's picture books now on every subject. But for this, I knew because my story deals with some more mature topics like death, revenge, forgiveness. I knew I needed to market it to a bit older, and I knew the kids in my age group would be able to comprehend what the story was about. So 8 to 11, but I've had older kids like it, and I've had younger kids say they liked it. So.
Do you foresee yourself writing a series of books set in ancient Egypt, or is this just a one-off?
Well, I'm actually right now bouncing ideas around about a sequel to this book.
Right.
In the original story, the main character, Akia, she sets off from the oasis, and she has to travel through the desert to find the pharaoh.
Right.
And when I wrote the story, I didn't have enough room to tell anything that happened to her on that journey through the desert.
Okay.
The book there wasn't enough room, and so I thought, that would be fun to revisit and tell what happened exactly when she went on this journey when she was in the desert, and then maybe I can tell what happened to some of the other characters. So I'm planning that, and I'm going to illustrate it again in this Egyptian style, and this time I'll get to draw a little more decorative things, a little more royalty, maybe the first wife or the queen, and some of the gods like Isis. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
You're an elementary teacher in Canada. How has your book been received by your colleagues?
Well, from what I've heard and what I've read online from reviews and things, teachers like it. They feel it's a great resource, not only for teaching history, but poetry and art, like I said.
Yeah.
And I know different grade levels have used it also because some of the themes they've discussed. So it's been positively received.
Great. Oh, that's very good. I understand you love travelling to new places and learning about history and art. Aside from ancient Egypt, is there another time and place that intrigues you as much?
Well, I love China. I'm working on a story idea. I've written the manuscript for a story about an emperor and a dragon back in ancient China.
Right.
So I love China. I visited Hong Kong actually back in, I think, 1989 when it was still under British control, and I got to go to China for a day.
Okay.
And I was absolutely fascinated by the little bit I saw. So I know I want to go back, and I love studying their artwork. So I'm going to illustrate this next when I do this book about the emperor, back looking like a Chinese silk drawing. So I'm sort of experimenting with that. I want to do a lot of actually books about ancient cultures,
right,
because I know that that's where there's a need for my own teaching. Ancient Greece is one I want to talk about.
Sure.
So I like to travel. Yeah.
You have great reviews on Amazon, including, excuse me, children will love this educational book about hieroglyphics and Egyptians. What was the best moment for you as an author and artist too, of course? The first review or the first sale?
Well, I think the most excitement was probably seeing the book for the first time. Okay. Because I had heard from the company that I published through that the book was done, but I had only seen and approved it online. I hadn't seen an actual physical copy. So the book went up for sale right away, and a parent at the school I work, I bought a copy online and brought it into an open house at the school I work, and wanted me to sign it. So before I even saw my own copy, here I was looking at it, her copy, and asked to sign it. So that was really exciting, signing the book and seeing it for the first time. And I loved it. Yeah, I loved seeing it. I loved the size, the look of it, and the quality was really good. So I was happy seeing it.
Where can readers purchase Pharaohs Arrow?
Well, it's available worldwide through Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble has it, and also here in Canada, Indigo Chapters has it online.
Right. Right, that's lovely. All right. Well, thank you, George. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club when you've published your next book, and I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Claire.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.